This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Doesn't even matter. Slowly on my way to hell only knows it doesn't even matter.
Following program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods on this day, Friday, August the 22nd of 2025. Day 234th of the year, and only 131 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there. Yep, good old Radio Big is where we're hanging out, doing our thing, no doubt about that. So how have you been? How's the last 24 hours or so of your life been so far? Good? I'm just asking. You know, we're rolling in 3 minutes past the top of the hour, so we have to make sure that everything is good and grand inside of there as we are talking. So a lot of stuff going on. Yeah, you know, it's almost like Conference Central around here, getting everything ready for the move and the groove, no doubt there as we are talking. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the interlude, no doubt about there. So let me tell you a little bit about our show. Our show consists of safety in the news, news and safety. It's kind of the way that it works. We talk a little bit about this, we talk a little bit about that, and then we move forward. But it's Freeform Friday, so let me explain what that means. That means we're just going to cover a whole plethora of stuff that we didn't get to earlier in the week. That's kind of how it goes. We just talk a little bit about everything and go, okay, we're falling up backwards, back to you. That's that kind of stuff. So if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go, and then we can do all of that. So today will be mostly news, and some safety stuff is kind of the way that it goes, just so you know. If you want to interact with the show, easy to do so. Callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com will do the trick for you. That will put everything across inside of this multiverse, and then we'll get everything moving and grooving, and then we're good to go. So if you're good with that, and I'm good with that, maybe we should move forward and talk a little bit about the stuff that was trending in the overnight, because that always seems to be like a good idea to talk about what we're going to talk about. That way there's not like some weird thing of, well, you didn't tell me we were going to talk about this, and so then no one had any clue. So if you're good, I'm good, and then we'll talk about all the stuff that was trending
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look at the trends of the ends, it goes something like this. Notable and noteworthy, the spooky wildfire summer continues. Also, prosecutors argue against Diddy's latest bid to drop the charges. We'll talk more about that inside of show business. Also, a pair of eyeballs from one of the sharks in Jaws is hitting the auction block. We'll talk about that in casting call, because I guess you could do a cast there. I mean, I don't know. Also, a reality star dishes on Princess Kate and sports mom duties. Yeah, sport mom duties. So, there you go. Talk about details about that inside of the Royals. So if you're good with some of this stuff, I'm good with it too. We can bring in our friends from Feature Story News. They'll tell us about what the hell's going on inside of there, and then we'll make a run for it. So if you're good to do that, I'm good to do it too. So let me go ahead and bring in my friends from Feature Story News, and then we'll go ahead and move on with that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has instructed negotiations to begin for the release of all hostages held in Gaza, while simultaneously approving plans for the military takeover of Gaza City. Israel has threatened to destroy the city if Hamas does not agree to its conditions for peace. Here's Blake Sifton in Tel Aviv.
On Thursday, Netanyahu said he has ordered the start of negotiations aimed at bringing back all 50 Israeli hostages held in Gaza. But the ceasefire proposal put forth by mediators that Hamas approved earlier this week is a partial deal for the release of only half of the hostages held in Gaza in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Netanyahu also said Thursday that he will give final approval for the military takeover of Gaza City. The move to seize Gaza City while simultaneously advocating hostage talks is being seen as an attempt to push Hamas to make concessions through military force. Blake Sifton, Tel Aviv.
Military chiefs from the United States and a number of European nations have presented plans for potential Ukraine security guarantees, with these options passed on to national security advisors. It comes as the Ukrainian president says he backs Donald Trump's suggestion of a more offensive reaction to Russian attacks. Our Europe correspondent William Denslow is in Brussels.
With the Trump administration pushing to broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, Kyiv is calling for allies to provide details on what security guarantees they'd be given. President Volodymyr Zelensky has called for these plans to be provided within the next 10 days. The US is currently not entertaining the notion of Kyiv joining NATO, nor sending its own troops to form a reassurance force to Ukraine. That's an option the likes of the UK and France have supported, but Moscow has reportedly included that among its red lines.
Hong Kong media mogul Jimmy Lai's lawyer clashed with judges over whether the pro-democracy newspaper founder had breached the city's national security law. The 77-year-old is accused of conspiring to publish seditious content, as Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
In court, defense lawyer Robert Pang read out some of Jimmy Lai's social media posts. As part of his closing submissions, he repeatedly said that the court could not conclude that Lai sought foreign interference through his criticisms made after the Beijing-imposed national security law took effect. The law was imposed in 2020 in response to massive anti-government protests the year before. Lawyer Pang said that Lai's comments on Beijing's wolf warrior style of diplomacy and US embargoes on high-tech exports to mainland China could have been made by anyone in a local restaurant over a dim sum table. But a judge said they had to examine all the evidence, which prosecutors allege were requests for foreign interference in December.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, how the Israeli government says the war in Gaza could end. Amid ongoing efforts to strike a ceasefire, we hear from Yaakov Katz, former advisor to former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, and the author of the book While Israel Slept. He's also the former editor of the Jerusalem Post. How does he believe the crisis can end?
Well, I think it ends in a simple way, and it can end today if Hamas were to release the Israeli hostages, 20 of whom are living, 30 who are believed to be dead, that they're still holding on to and are languishing in Hamas captivity. Release them back to Israel. Say we are no longer interested in attacking Israel. We no longer want to destroy Israel. We lay down our arms. Gaza can be free, can be rebuilt. Israel can live in safety and security. It's that simple. I think no one would want to see an ending under which Hamas remains in power in Gaza, still has weapons, still can attack, still can try to carry out another October 7th atrocity. That would not be good for Israel, would not be good for the Palestinians, and would not be good for the world. If they gave over all the hostages, the war would come to an end. That is what Netanyahu has said. He wants to see a comprehensive deal under which all the hostages are released, and not a piecemeal deal, which is what Hamas wants, because it releases just a bit and then holds on and stays in power.
Critics of the Israeli Prime Minister argue that he's threatened the full-scale occupation of Gaza in order to prolong the conflict, partly because he wants to delay his trial on corruption charges. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And a recap of the top stories. Israel has threatened to destroy Gaza City if Hamas does not agree to its conditions for peace. Military chiefs from the United States and a number of European nations have presented plans for potential security guarantees to Ukraine. And Hong Kong media mogul Jimmy Lai's lawyer clashed with judges over whether the pro-democracy newspaper founder had breached the city's national security law. That's the latest feature story news. Ross Cullen reporting.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick.
A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it.
Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
He's the man. It's awesome, funny, random, doesn't make any sense, but it's good.
Jay Allen in the morning on Radio Big.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Oh, we're doing something all right. I'm just not sure what exactly it is. Yeah, we're streaming. That's what we're doing. Anyways, so a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse. There is no doubt about that. And like I said, it is catch-up day in regards to trying to find all the stuff that we didn't talk about. So let's start getting into it right away. The United States and European Union government announced more details for new trade terms. The U.S. will slap a 15% tariff on most goods imported from the EU, including automobiles, but auto tariffs will be reduced when the EU passes legislation similar to reduced tariffs on American cars. At the start of September, the U.S. will give EU most favored nations tariff rates on aircrafts, generic prescriptions, chemical precursors, and select natural resources. The EU will eliminate all tariffs on American industry goods and open up markets for American agriculture projects. The EU has committed to buy $750 billion in American energy products, $40 billion in American-made artificial intelligence chips, and an investment of $600 billion in various American industries. So, I guess that will change some things up for you as you are taking a look around, no doubt about that, as we are talking. So what do you think? Some interesting stuff, right? So just wanted to make sure. Also, air travel passengers who pay extra for window seats expect an actual view, not just a fuselage on the side. A pair of action lawsuits filed this week against Delta and United seeks millions in damages from customers who booked window seats but did not get a window at all. The access includes more than 1 million participants, or the classes, better say. The location condition ducts, electrical conduits, and other airplane components occasionally interfere with the window placement, while carriers like Alaska Airlines and American Airlines especially flag these seats as not having a window. Delta and United do not, but still charge a hefty premium. Airlines say that customers can research seat amenities on third-party sites like Seat Guru, but the lawyers for the classes say that it's not good enough. A company can misrepresent the nature of the products if it sells it and then relies on a third-party review to say that the customer should have known that it was lying. I mean, this is according to what NBC News is saying about this. So some interesting times. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You go on a plane, and then there's that weird seat. It's that weird seat that's a window seat, but it's just a giant space. with no window. And you kind of going, did I just get ripped off of a window here? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You seen it and you go, oh, yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that people are talking about. So there you go. Anyways, the summer of spooky animals gets weirder now with mutant zombie deers. Yeah, photos of the deer cluster, pus-filled blisters and sores have popped up on social media across the country, including New York, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. While the condition is creepy, it's not a new wildlife, experts say, who call the deer warts, is what they're calling it, not as uncommon as you think. Ticks and mosquitoes typically carry the virus between deers. Since it's been warm and muggy, the bugs have flourished. And the demonic-looking deers occasionally are spotting the disease plagued the squirrels and rabbits this summer. So, yeah, they're everywhere. The deer demons. So, yeah, if you haven't seen a pic and you're on the screener, that's what it looks like. That is the look of this thing. Looks kind of weird when you first see it. And I can't really explain it too well, but it's just like, it's something with a whole bunch of markings on it. At least that was the deer. The squirrel, if you take a look at the squirrel version, it's just full of pus. And this is all coming from the U.S. Sun, by the way. I like to make sure that they get credit for this. But yeah. That's one full of pus. The rabbit version's kind of freaky looking too. This one's also coming from the U.S. Sun. You can go to the-sun.com for this. But yeah, all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff to take a gander at. It's kind of creepy looking when you start really giving it some thought. No doubt about that. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking. Well, that backfired. In July of 2023, the German neo-Nazi named, Leibich was sentenced to 18 months in prison for initiating hatred, defamation, and causing insults because the First Amendment isn't a thing there. Let's see. Lichtenbach appealed and has not yet reported for his sentence, though he lost the appeal, and in the ensuing months, entirely unrelated to Lichtenbach's case, Germany changed the laws allowing any person to self-report a change in their gender without any court of approval. Just show up at the government office, tell them the gender and the new name, and they get new papers. So, when Lichtenbach is now Marla Savit Lichtenbach, a woman who would like to serve a prison sentence with women, as now Lichtenbach is scheduled to report in women's prison next week, though the government officially says that Lichtenbach could be transferred. So there you go. This is according to BBC. So let me make sure that I understand this. You can self-report, change your gender, and so this guy's going to be locked up for 18 months as a woman in a female prison. I'm just trying to follow along. This is all coming from the BBC, by the way. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Interesting times, no doubt about that. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other stuff as we are talking a new record for the most people simultaneously scratching lottery tickets has been sent. Earlier this month, around 1,380 Iowans gathered at the Iowa State Fair, where they were given a free scratch match and win tickets to simultaneously scratch their luck. An official adjudicator from Guinness World Records was on site, as well as the previous world record was 830, simultaneously scratching via KCCI. So somebody explained this to me. Did somebody wake up one morning and say, here in Iowa, we don't have a record for some things. And I think the record we should be known for is for how many people can simultaneously scratch a scratch-off ticket at the same time.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I'm just trying to make sure that I understand what was going on. That's it. So don't get mad at me. I didn't say come up with the scratch-off game. I'm just telling you what was happening. Anyways, the New York State Court of Appeals threw out a nearly $500 million penalty tossed at President Trump, levied as a result of a bogus business fraud case brought by activist attorney General Letitia James. The 5 judges unanimously agreed that the exorbitant fine. 3 of the 5 judges did favor tossing the case out entirely, but because they could not agree to this remedy, they decided to allow the case to proceed onto further appeals. In the prime form, Trump took this to social media, Truth Social, to celebrate the court victory, writing, it was the politician witch hunt in a business sense, the likes on which no one ever has seen before. This was the case of election interference by the city and the state to try to show illegally that I did things that were wrong when in fact everything I did was absolutely correct and even perfect. This is what he wrote. He followed the lengthy post by sharing a stern-looking photo of himself set to the music of All I Do Is Win by DJ Khaled. So there you go. I'm just telling you. This is the stuff that happens, and we share it and talk about it. That's how it goes. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about the Dow, or let's talk about the numbers, better saying. Because, we have to have some number talk. If not, it doesn't feel legit. Anyways, the Dow lost about 152 points to close at 44,785 on Thursday, and the S&P lost about 25 points to close at 6,370, and the NASDAQ lost about 72 points to close at 21,100. West Texas Intermediate closed at $63 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $67 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.13 on Thursday, and Bitcoin tumbled Thursday down 1.5%, trading just around $112,500. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $234 million jackpot or $105.1 million cash payout. So that's an option to do right there. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $700 million jackpot or a $316.3 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. Some options, some things to do. Some things to play, if that's your thing. So there you go. So let's talk about this because this was making news yesterday because it did occur yesterday on
Thursday.
Eric Menendez spent approximately 3 hours speaking to the parole board on Thursday morning. Should parole be granted, the board chief counsel has up to 120 days to look over everything. Then it goes to the governor, Gavin Newsom. He has 30 days to accept the decision, reject it, or request a modification. If it goes the brothers' way, they could be out by the start of 2026. Lyle Menendez will appear before the board first. This is according to Deadline. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there as we are talking. What was yesterday? So yesterday was 21st. So yeah, if I remember correctly, I was hearing that he did not get approved. Or at least one of them did not get approved. I have to double check that, because I'm sure we have it somewhere. Okay, what else do we got? The New York prosecutor filed a new legal docs this week in response of Sean Combs' request to get this Mann Act conviction overturned. Mann, M-A-N-N, by the way, or possibly get a new trial. Combs' lawyers argued that the music mogul made no money from the prostitution charges that he's been hit with, but prosecutors say that it's a freak-off where enough evidence to show the mastermind of sexual encounters. Sentencing is set for October the 3rd in regards of what is going on. So what do you think here? I remember listening to John Morgan from Morgan & Morgan, and pretty much he was on He was on something. What the hell was he on? I want to say it was the Bubba the Love Sponge show, but don't hold me to that. And he had said he didn't see any legs for this case to stand on, and really thought that it wasn't going to be much of anything. And so far, it seems like John Morgan had it right, which is kind of scary when you start thinking about that he was able to see from, and when I say scary, I'm talking about that he was able to see from afar that, hey, this ain't going to happen the way that people are thinking. So it gets pretty interesting right away. Okay, take a listen to this real quick. Brooke Hogan wants answers about her father's, Hulk Hogan's, death. In a recent Instagram post, she stated several professionals, including police officers and nurses who were allegedly with her dad on the day that his passing, that have reached out with their concerns. In the post, Brooke says that they told her that she needs to get body cam footage and get a hold of the 911 tapes because the information on those shed enough light to change the narrative. Her brother, Nick Hogan, is also questioning the circumstances of their father's passing. Meanwhile, Hulk's wife tells TMZ that an error made during one of his surgeries may have contributed to his death, specifically his nerve that was compromised. The nerve controls the diaphragm and the essential to the ability to breathe, according to the Cleveland Clinic. Sky, which is Hogan's or Terry Bollero's wife name, also shared the autopsy has been also shared that an autopsy has been complete, but did not disclose the results. This is according to TMZ. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen there. Also, in some other news, Britney Spears' latest Instagram post has fans concerned about her well-being. And the clip, Spears is on a boat dancing along Carry Out by Timberland, which features her ex-boyfriend, Justin Timberlake. After shutting off the music, she says something about jumping into the water in a strange accent, and then the camera pans over to presumably the captain, who gives the thumbs up. So, there you go. I don't know. I mean, I keep on wondering sometimes about that conservative shift thing that she had going on. And, you know, I know that a lot of people were like, hey, we need to make sure that she's no longer in it. I don't know. Is it the right decision? Is it the wrong decision? I know. I shouldn't be talking about it.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Anyways, it's Freeform Friday, so that's why we're talking about everything I would normally be talking about the main story. But, hey, it's Friday.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Paris, I'm Ross Cullen. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he has instructed negotiations to begin for the release of all hostages held in Gaza, while simultaneously approving plans for the military takeover of Gaza City. Israel has threatened to destroy the city if Hamas does not agree to its conditions for peace. Here's Blake Sifton in Tel Aviv.
On Thursday, Netanyahu said he has ordered the start of negotiations aimed at bringing back all 50 Israeli hostages held in Gaza. But the ceasefire proposal put forth by mediators that Hamas approved earlier this week is a partial deal for the release of only half of the hostages held in Gaza in exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Netanyahu also said Thursday that he will give final approval for the military takeover of Gaza City. The move to seize Gaza City while simultaneously advocating hostage talks is being seen as an attempt to push Hamas to make concessions through military force. Blake Sifton, Tel Aviv.
Military chiefs from the United States and a number of European nations have presented plans for potential Ukraine security guarantees, with these options passed on to national security advisors. It comes as the Ukrainian president says he backs Donald Trump's suggestion of a more offensive reaction to Russian attacks. Our Europe correspondent William Denslow is in Brussels.
With the Trump administration pushing to broker a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine, Kyiv is calling for allies to provide details on what security guarantees they'd be given. President Volodymyr Zelensky has called for these plans to be provided within the next 10 days. The US is currently not entertaining the notion of Kyiv joining NATO, nor sending its own troops to form a reassurance force to Ukraine. That's an option the likes of the UK and France have supported, but Moscow has reportedly included that among its red lines.
Hong Kong media mogul Jimmy Lai's lawyer clashed with judges over whether the pro-democracy newspaper founder had breached the city's national security law. The 77-year-old is accused of conspiring to publish seditious content, as Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
In court, defense lawyer Robert Pang read out some of Jimmy Lai's social media posts. As part of his closing submissions, he repeatedly said that the court could not conclude that Lai sought foreign interference through his criticisms made after the Beijing-imposed national security law took effect. The law was imposed in 2020 in response to massive anti-government protests the year before. Lawyer Pang said that Lai's comments on Beijing's wolf warrior style of diplomacy and U.S. embargoes and high-tech exports to mainland China could have been made by anyone in a local restaurant over a dim sum table. But a judge said they had to examine all the evidence, which prosecutors allege were requests for foreign interference in discussion.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, how the Israeli government says the war in Gaza could end. Amid ongoing efforts to strike a ceasefire, we hear from Yaakov Katz, former advisor to former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, and the author of the book While Israel Slept. He's also the former editor of the Jerusalem Post. How does he believe the crisis can end?
Well, I think it ends in a simple way, and it can end today if Hamas were to release the Israeli hostages, 20 of whom are living, 30 who are believed to be dead, that they're still holding on to and are languishing in Hamas captivity. Release them back to Israel. Say we are no longer interested in attacking Israel. We no longer want to destroy Israel. We lay down our arms. Gaza can be free, can be rebuilt. Israel can live in safety and security. It's that simple. I think no one would want to see an ending under which Hamas remains in power in Gaza, still has weapons, still can attack, still can try to carry out another October 7th atrocity. That would not be good for Israel, would not be good for the Palestinians, and would not be good for the world. If they gave over all the hostages, the war would come to an end. That is what Netanyahu has said. He wants to see a comprehensive deal under which all the hostages are released, and not a piecemeal deal, which is what Hamas wants, because it releases just a bit and then holds on and stays in power.
Critics of the Israeli Prime Minister argue that he's threatened the full-scale occupation of Gaza in order to prolong the conflict, partly because he wants to delay his trial on corruption charges. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And a recap of the top stories. Israel has threatened to destroy Gaza City if Hamas does not agree to its conditions for peace. Military chiefs from the United States and a number of European nations have presented plans for potential security guarantees to Ukraine. And Hong Kong media mogul Jimmy Lai's lawyer clashed with judges over whether the pro-democracy newspaper founder had breached the city's national security law. That's the latest feature story news. Ross Cullen reporting.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author Jay Allen, PhD. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Our station is so big that you don't have to do much to make it work for you. Radio Big.
of always singing alone, when it doesn't even matter. Slowly on my way to hell only knows it doesn't even matter.
Okay, here we go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, a lot of stuff always going on inside of the world of the multiverse. This song that you're taking a listen to right here, well, it's titled You Can't Change Me. It's by Seth Beamer. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora, just in case you were wondering. Might want to go ahead and give it a little streamer-eamer action. And thank you to Seth Beamer for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multi. No doubt there. Okay. A lot of stuff going on as we are moving and grooving. Okay. Thank you to Seth Beamer for allowing us to play that. Anyways, let's talk about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, a plethora of resources available related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Okay, a lot of stuff going on right there for us to talk about. Let's talk about this because it is Friday and some people will want to know about this stuff. So why would we not start talking about it right away? With it being Friday, well, you know what it is. It's movie day, so we had to talk about some movie stuff. Okay, Eden comes out today. It's rated R, based on a factual account of a group of outsiders who settled on a remote island only to discover their greatest threat isn't brutal climate or deadly wildlife, but each other. That comes out today, rated R adventure mystery. Also rated R, Honey Don't. It's a dark comedy about Honey O'Donoghue, a small-town private investigator who delves into a series of strange deaths tied to mysterious church. So that's out today. Also, Relay, rated R, drama mystery, a broker of a lucrative payoff between corrupt corporations and the individuals threatened them that breaks his own rules with a new client who seeks his protection to stay alive. So there you go. Also, Primitive War, rated PG, action sci-fi. Vietnam 1968 is sent to an isolated jungle, and missing the Green Beret platoon, they soon discover that they are not alone and must face the most terrifying creatures to ever walk the earth. So there you go. Some stuff going on there. Okay, let's talk about some solo mojo real quick. People overwhelmingly prefer to make decisions on their own rather than ask advice, no matter their culture. A study of more than 3,500 participants across 12 countries found that they think that things through by themselves was the top choice when making decisions, followed by trusting gut instincts. Asking friends for advice came in third, while consulting larger groups was generally least popular. Even the community-oriented societies, most people still favor independent decision-making published in the Proceedings of the Royal Society B. The study challenges the idea of group-focused cultures naturally seek the guidance of others, from students in South Korea, Japan, Germany, and Canada to indigenous communities in the Amazon. Self-reliance consistently came in first, intuition second, and a group input last, though the cultures did influence how strongly these presences did appear. So I know, and after 41 years, you'd think that I'd learn. And yeah, if you're my friends, you're making your decisions on your own too. So just so you know. Anyways, let's talk about something a little bit more positive and bring some John Smalls in and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Tom. Mark Weber said, "To be strong enough to know when you are weak and brave enough to face yourself when you're afraid. To be proud and unbending in honest failure, but humble and gentle in success. To be modest so that you will appreciate the open mind of true wisdom and the meekness of true strength. To be serious, yet never take yourself too seriously." What a cool quote. I've never taken myself too seriously, partially because I'm a comedian, but also because I know me. I feel imposter syndrome all the time. You know, there are millions of people who are more qualified to do this program, but I'm the one that answered the call, so sorry, you're stuck with me. Here I am.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Since much of the damage caused by our hurtful actions is of an emotional or spiritual nature, there may be little we can do to make restitution beyond a heartfelt apology. When apologizing, we should be especially sensitive to the feelings of the injured person and his or her family. Our apology must never cause the wounded person further pain or embarrassment. Only God can undo the damage we have done, but our sincere apology may be the instrument He uses to heal and restore. Lord Jesus, forgive us, for we have sinned. We have wounded our brothers and sisters with our words and our action. Heal the words we have so carelessly inflicted. In your holy name I pray. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The Texas House reached a quorum after Democrats ended a 2-week standoff over proposed congressional maps.
The maps, backed by President Trump, are set for approval by Texas Republicans. The redistricting plan has been controversial, with debates over its impact on voter representation. Democrats returned to Austin to participate in the legislative process. The maps could reshape Texas' congressional landscape for years. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Israel has approved a controversial plan to build thousands of new housing units in the occupied West Bank.
The move is seen as a significant step toward dividing the region, impacting Palestinian statehood prospects. Far-right Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich stated the plan would prevent a Palestinian state. The decision has drawn international criticism amid ongoing diplomatic tensions. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Hurricane Aaron, a Category 2 storm, generated dangerous rip currents along the U.S. East Coast, particularly affecting North Carolina's Outer Banks.
Beaches in New Jersey, New York, and Virginia have been closed to swimmers due to strong waves. The storm is not expected to make landfall, but will bring tropical force winds. Evacuations were underway in parts of North Carolina. Jessica Oakley reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The FDA has issued a warning about possible cesium-137 contamination in great value frozen shrimp sold at Walmart.
No contaminated shrimp has entered the U.S. food supply, according to the agency. The recall targets specific batches of raw frozen shrimp. Consumers are advised to avoid consuming the affected products. Walmart is cooperating with the FDA to address the issue. Liam White reporting.
The White House has launched an official TikTok account to reach over 170 million U.S. users.
The move comes ahead of a September
November 17th deadline for the app to find a new owner or face a nationwide ban. President Trump's administration aims to use the platform to communicate directly with the public. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem announced that the southern border wall with Mexico is being painted black to deter illegal immigration.
The decision aligns with President Trump's immigration policies. The painting project aims to make the wall less climbable during hot weather. Critics argue the measure may not address root causes of migration. The initiative is part of a broader crackdown on illegal border crossings. Kyle Norris reporting.
Florida carried out its 10th execution of 2025, setting a state record for executions in a single year.
The execution took place under strict state protocols at a designated facility. The individual was convicted of serious crimes, though specific details were not disclosed publicly. Florida's justice system has faced scrutiny over its execution policies. The state continues to lead in the number of executions nationwide. David Lang reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. So, okay, there you go. Let's start talking real quick about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2020, Mexico's COVID-19 death toll passes 60,000, making it the world's third highest. The U.S. has the highest at 153,415 deaths, and Brazil has the recorded 92,475 deaths. That happened back on this date, back in 2020. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about it. Jack Blues Bieber turns 1. Max Crosby, 28. Dua Lipa, yeah, she turns 30 today. Doesn't look it, but she turns 30 today. Jay Uso turns 40. Jimmy Uso, 40. Jennifer Flanagan, 46. James Gordon turns 47. Kristen Wiig, 52. Richard Amerle turns 54. Ty Buzar turns 58. Andrew Wilson, 61. Tori Amos, 62. Debbie Peterson, 64. Mark Williams turns 66. Paul Molitor turns 69. Bill Parcells turns 84, and that's going to be it. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, it's National Tooth Fairy Day, World Plant Milk Day, Be an Angel Day, and Folklore Day. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are talking. So a lot of it going on inside of the world. So what else? I think that's going to be it. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. I will be talking about the world of music and the world of entertainment. So that's some options. If you don't want to go over there, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the
world of safety consulting.
So he'll be there for you to talk about it. So if you need a random joke for today, I have one of those for you because that's what I do around here. Just take my advice. I'm not going to use it. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. Who was your childhood celebrity crush? Why does it have to be a childhood thing? You can't have one still? Okay. 13%. Okay, if you need this for the water cooler, try this. 13% of people still get nervous doing this, even though they've been doing it for years. What is it? Placing an order at a drive-thru. I'm not nervous. I'm just like, hey, we're playing roulette here. It's the luck of the draw. So there you go. Anyways, that's going to sum it up. That's going to take it over. The fun stuff begins now. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. Nothing in the world is as contagious as laughter and good humor. So think about those things because they are important. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
You are who